Hello, welcome back to the channel, and I'm feeling quite down after that one. I don't know about you guys, but I've got more questions than answers at the moment. Over Christmas, I was very much on the promotion train. Viva la Premier League! I'm jumping off that train for the time being. I do feel there are a lot of question marks over Javi Gracia. But before I go off on a long ramble, a massive shout out to both Tom and his son Hugo, who I met at the match yesterday. I'll put their photo on screen now. They flew all the way over from Sydney, Australia to be at Vicarage Road yesterday, landing at London Heathrow at 6:30 a.m. and making it to the game at night. And yeah, whilst the performance wasn't that great, they got to see their boy Nestri Irankunda, and they also got to see a Mamadou Doumbia goal as well. And I believe they're spending the next week and a half or so exploring the wonderful sights of England. So Tom and Hugo, thanks for saying hello. It was great to catch up with you two, and yeah, hopefully I can make the reverse journey within the next couple of years too. But look, talking about Watford and Pompey, I've got to say, I underestimated Portsmouth going into this one. I spoke about how they were in the relegation zone. They had lots of injuries. And even still, with all of them culminating factors around their performances this season, they look so much more cohesive, fluid, and organised than Watford. I think Javi Gracia at times is too stubborn with his team selections. Of course, we stumbled upon a winning formula over the Christmas period. Our teams were unchanged for quite a prolonged period of time, but now we've had a couple of poor performances, both, of course, against Millwall, yesterday against Pompey. You can count Bristol in the FA Cup as well. And I just felt yesterday we needed some fresh legs and some inspiration from our wider squad players. And there's no coincidence actually that we picked up 3 injuries yesterday. Matty Pollock taken off at half time with a niggle. I think James Abankwah has a muscular injury, as does off-man Mama as well, who started the game with strapping on his legs. And when I looked at the bench and saw Doumbia, Vata, Bar and Irankunda not starting, I did feel it was a real missed opportunity. And I think Javi Gracia clearly is a very pragmatic manager, and that has worked in our favour during some games this season. I think Watford's best football has been against teams who are expansive and like to open up, which gives our wide players chances to run in behind. But watching the last two against Millwall and Pompey, two sides who like to sit deep and then break, I do feel we find it hard to break them down, especially through the middle. We are a very, very predictable football team. It's faff around at the back. Selvik holds on to it for ages. Passes to Matty, Abankwah, Ngaki Abola. They use the width, get crosses into the box. But what we struggle to do is actually go through the middle, play incisive balls in behind. The second goal scored by Millwall, the Josh Coburn goal, was simple. It was just a simple ball in behind. Abankwah lost concentration and Coburn slots past Egil Selvik. I just think Watford are overcomplicating it at the moment. And Javi Gracia, as I said, certainly isn't helping himself with team selections. And I also feel substitutions are coming way too late as well. As I said, he's very stubborn. He trusts in the more experienced pros. But you can't be having kind of 4 real attackers on the bench and not bringing them on until late. Nestri Irankunda coming on in the 80th minute is a disaster. Kwadwo Bar didn't see any minutes yesterday, and Rocco Vata, in my opinion, of course I'm not a medical expert here, I felt he was maybe rushed back slightly too early, coming on in, the 55th or 60th minute. So yeah, I don't really know what to think about Javi Gracia. I've seen a few fans on social media saying they're very much against the manager at the moment, and look, I can see why people may be of that view. I'm not there yet. I think Javi has a lot more credit in the bank with me yet before I turn too much on him. But yeah, concerning signs, I think we can definitely say I'm off the playoff train for the time being. I think it's a massive game this weekend against Blackburn, clearly. Join me here on the channel for a live match watch along as well. I hope to see you there. And yeah, again, like Pompey, like Millwall, they've got a massive injury crisis. Their owners aren't investing in the club. Of course, it's against a former Watford manager in Valerian Ismail, which adds a little bit of extra spice to the game, of course, as well. And their fans are doing a full boycott of the game. There could very well be more Watford fans in the away end than there is home fans at the stadium on Saturday. So for me, that is now the biggest game of the season. There's no doubts about that. If Watford are serious about the playoffs, we've got to be beating sides in the relegation zone. We struggled against Sheffield Wednesday. We struggled against Pompey. We struggled earlier this season against Blackburn as well. Of course, we lost at Vicarage Road against them too. So yeah, I can sit here and say, look, I hope Watford will win this game, and we have the players to do so. I have no doubts about that. Do I trust Javi to pick the right 11? That's the question. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. I know I glossed over the goal we conceded, but I felt the issues were bigger than Ngakia switching off for a few seconds at the back. We know he has that in him. And yeah, another poor game from Jezzy yesterday. But I think Watford's issues right now are bigger than individual performances on the team. I think we have to have a wider conversation about the manager and ask questions about whether he has kind of a plan B or not. So I'll leave it there. There won't be a dedicated Blackburn match preview. As I said, I'll be here for a live watch along on Saturday afternoon. So I hope you can join me for that. And I really, really do hope we will be seeing a Watford victory on the road. It's much needed. And yeah, just to end finally on Javi Gracia once again. I listened to his post-match press conference with the Watford Observer and BBC Radio 3 Counties, and whilst he's pleased about Edoardo Bove signing for the club, he sounded very dejected actually about our transfer window so far, which does suggest to me that of course Edoardo Bove is very much a Pozzo signing, and that Javi Gracia probably wants players in for the here and now rather than a month's time. And I do want to reiterate the fact that whilst I'm happy with Edoardo, and it was great to see him unveiled last night, what a beautiful man, of course, yeah, we certainly need defensive reinforcements. And that becomes more apparent after the injuries we saw. We don't yet know how serious the Matty injury is. We don't know how serious the Abankwit injury is. And of course, Othman Mama went off the pitch as well. So I'll leave it there. That's enough waffle from me today. I hope to see you on Saturday. Great to meet Tom and his son Hugo as well. A big shout out to you two, and yeah, I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye bye.